That's a cool looking AI lion. I've never seen it do that. If you guys have not seen From, which was previously by Epix but now by MGM, don't know when that happened, you're seriously missing out. If you like sci-fi and shows like Lost with supernatural elements and things just keep getting wilder from here on out, you just keep getting a stack of questions that are never answered and you don't think will ever be. And even though the show is amazing, you realize that the writers are writing themselves into a corner and probably don't know how to even end the show themselves. You'll love this.
And come in.
What happens when you break the rules?
So now we got season 3, and where we left off, more people were coming in. People were getting yeeted in their dreams. They're running out of food. Tabitha's trying to save some spirit children in the forest. Jade is trying to solve the symbols. Michael from Lost is having a hard time, but he saves those people from their dreams or nightmares by breaking a music box. And the mysterious Pure Kid pushes Tabitha out of the window of the tower. She subsequently ends up back in the real world, or so we think, because, you know, at this point, I don't even know. And I do like that they left off exactly where we saw her in the last season. This is literally how it starts. I think more shows should start doing that.
Can you tell me your name? You were found without any identification.
Well, it's kind of a good and bad thing. The police are on their way because obviously you find some weird woman in the woods. Hikers think that she's almost dead, bring her to the hospital, and she has no identification whatsoever. You're probably automatically gonna think she's a missing person or something of the sort. What's clear is that she's confused. And so I thought she was stupid for doing this, but she's actually pretty smart because nothing she tells the cops at this point is gonna make them believe her. I mean, what are you gonna tell them? Hey, I came from a place where freaking Dracula's children come out at night, and then when we go to sleep, these beetle things eat us from the inside out, and it's a small town that we can't ever leave, and we have to put talisman up on our doors so that the vampiric nocturnal creatures don't come in when they're asked to be let in. Ew. What a creepy looking rectangular boy. I know it's probably not how he looks in real life, but he's just giving like AI vibes. Like if you told the AI to make a child and put it in the real world, that's what it would come out looking like. She's looking for this boy, but I swear to God, half of the people that are walking around, like this woman in the background, I actually believe that she's still in the place, but in another version of it. And that's one of the Dracula people walking around in the daytime. You know what would be more messed up? If she's now in a town where all these people are normal, but then at night they all become monsters. That would be crazy. And I like how half of these extras, you can tell that they're extras because they're just being extra with their extraing, if that makes any sense. People are like, oh look, the camera's rolling, act like I'm drinking a cup of coffee. They just look too busy that it looks obvious to me. I've seen people in the real world and how they lounge, and that's not how they do it. You can just tell something's off. It actually draws attention to them, to be honest.
I mean, it's the only way.
Get your hands off him.
I'm so sorry.
What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
See what I mean? That acting right there with her freaking rolling her eyes and them talking to each other, it's so freaking fake. Oh my God. I know they're trying their best and they're not actors, but Jesus Christ. It's up to the directors to actually do enough takes to annoy the shit out of these people so they look legitimately annoyed or concerned. That's what I would do. I would get so canceled if I was a director. That was my initial dream, to become a movie director, until I realized that you have to actually work with people. But I would make people feel it. I would make people cry so it could be believable, and that's not exactly like ethical. And my movies would come out and people are like, oh my God, the actors are so amazing. Like how? And I would spearhead their careers, but they would have some serious PTSD working for me because I would really help usher them into those emotions that they need. It'd make the money that you're getting worth it, wouldn't it? Mike, I know that's probably not his real name, but that's how I know him, is still seeing Father Kati. Did Father Kati get a haircut as a ghost? Little kid wants to see his mother. I can't really blame him. She just walked off. And now it's an issue because if someone doesn't go looking for her, then he's gonna keep looking for her.
Let go!
Ethan! We've been looking everywhere for you.
You told them, didn't you?
Hey, I'm talking
What
to
did
you.
you tell them? We have to go find Mom! We can't just leave her out there. We have to do something!
Just go inside, all right? Go.
Julie's acting weird. I don't know how she found the time or even the resources to dye her hair like jet black or whatever that color is she's wearing now. So this guy's like, okay, if I don't go find my wife, my kid's gonna go find my wife and he's gonna get lost and possibly his ass eaten. And Mike is trying to stop him like he wouldn't do the same thing if his wife wasn't out there. Like if the man wants to go find his wife, let him find his wife. Then he says at least one smart thing and says that there's a way to do this so that you can be better prepared. Because me and Sarah were out there and we got dragged all high hell in that tent by by some weird freaking big batty spider thing that they couldn't see.
Just give me a second.
You said that 15 minutes ago. Come on.
Ah.
I can't wait any longer.
Bruh, I know she's sick. I know that she's having morning sickness. Trust me, I understand. There is one bathroom. I don't know. Am I the only person who throws up in the bathroom sink? Like, I don't know. Like, the whole, even when I'm about to be sick, the act of, like, putting my face next to the place where people's asses are or were meant, because I don't know how often people are cleaning that bathroom. Have you ever lived in a house with freaking guys? They always leave their freaking urine on the lip of the toilet. I don't know why they do that. And then it drains down here in the back on the walls. I'm like, bro, you have a fucking nozzle, my guy. How is it that you can't aim at the age of 16? Like, I don't understand. And like, I love my brothers and everything, but goddamn, even boyfriends I've been with, they all have that issue. The only difference is at least some of them will clean up after themselves. Most dudes that I know don't. It is so annoying. It's like, dude, you shouldn't be making a mess unless your stream is coming out 3 different ways. If you just jacked off, wait for a second so that you can aim properly, dude. So the whole idea of these people, we don't know if they have STDs. People around here, there's no medical attention. I mean, they do have medical attention, but trust me, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? So you have people with freaking ay caramba up in their freaking nozzles, and you're putting your face and hugging yourself. You're not washing your hands. And if you put your face in the toilet, you're not washing your face. It's fucking gross, guy. Like, every time I see someone hugging around the toilet, it just is nauseating. So yes, I will throw up in the sink. I don't care if that is freaking nasty to some people. It's nastier to put your face on a toilet that everyone else puts their ass and that shit comes out of. It's really gross. It's fucking disgusting. So, with that whole rant aside, the fact that she's in here hogging the toilet when she could have been throwing up in the sink, throwing up outside, throwing up in the sinks in the kitchen, there's a million places on this entire acreage that you can throw up, but you choose to hog the bathroom that everybody else needs. What, have you considered that there are probably other pregnant women that probably need this too? She's being so selfish. You're sick, boo-hoo, other people have injuries too.
Hurry up. What are you doing in there?
Oh my God, this is getting... Ah! You have no idea how mad I got. Like, I have grown up in a house where there was one bathroom, and I swear to fucking God, anybody that will kick the goddamn door down. I have to use the bathroom, so now I have to worry about getting a UTI because I'm holding my urine, because you're in there doing God knows fucking what? Bro, at least let me in so I can go in the bathtub or some shit like that, bro. Like, we're women. Men can go anywhere they want. We can't. Jesus Christ, it's so annoying. And then I hate how the way they frame this to make it seem as though, oh my God, we're supposed to feel sorry for her. Bitch, you were the one having sex with everyone. Why should we feel sorry for you when everybody else is in the same exact position? You're sick, okay? I may sound heartless, but I hate how people use like this whole victim mentality to be mean to everybody else. You're a community. You're all supposed to be looking out for each other. And I know my husband was like, well, she could technically just use someone. Where? Do you realize that for us to piss, I mean, yeah, we could go outside, but why are you hogging the bathroom? Why do you get like special treatment to hog the bathroom? Yes, she's pregnant. I get it, but she's not even on the toilet. You're throwing up. There's buckets. Are there not buckets around? The girl could have used a bucket too, but people could hear you throwing up in there. You could throw up anywhere. If you're running to the bathroom just to be sick, you don't need the toilet to do that. I'm sorry. That would annoy the shit out of me. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm an evil person, but to me, that shit is just selfish. I know it sounds like I'm getting triggered over this. But I've been in that situation where there's one bathroom and the people in the bathroom are not even freaking using the actual toilet. They're sitting on their phone or doing whatever. I mean, you're not using the bathroom for 40 fucking minutes. And if somebody really has to go, cut it mid-length or mid-drop, get up and allow them to use the bathroom and then reconvene. It's not that hard. Everyone has had to do it, you know, when you're being considerate of other people.
It's bad enough you're getting double rations without you hogging the bathroom.
Whoa, back off, Nikki.
Eat shit, Clara.
Hey, is there a problem?
Yeah, there's a problem. I'm about to piss on the floor.
Look, I completely agree with that woman. I understand why she's upset. But if you really had to go that badly, push aside and go to the bathroom. Why are you sitting up there arguing? We should be nice to pregnant women, but the pregnant woman has to understand that other people exist outside of her. Possibly other pregnant women as well.
Screw her.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Baby, you really gotta eat something.
I will. My stomach just hasn't been right. I just gotta rest.
It's two of you I gotta worry about now.
I mean, I'm not gonna go back because I forgot, just for a quick moment, that she thought she couldn't have kids. So I don't think she was being irresponsible by letting him blast his batter up all on her, because as far as she was concerned, she can't have kids. And now here we are. And why is that old lady so creepy? She looks like one of the vampires. She's giving that vegan teacher. Maybe that's a little too cruel to this woman. And I don't give a fuck. That woman is out there defaming people and calling them the most heinous things because they eat meat. So I don't care. Not sorry. Because, you know, I guess the Inuit people are racist too, because they predominantly live off meat because they have no choice. Donna, she's like adult human version of Sarah, Tops from Land Before Time to me. She's trying to keep herself busy. She's like my favorite character on here. Meanwhile, Mike, I have to know his name. Like, what is his actual name? I don't know. Everyone knows him as Mike from Lost. Does it really matter? We know who I'm talking about.
The day that Sarah and I found the lighthouse in the woods, we started out at the little stone hut where I found the talisman. We were also in a tent that got dragged, who knows where. But if you start out in the hut each morning, you're at least starting closer to what you're trying to find. And you got a place to come back to at night so you don't get yourself killed.
Makes sense.
Boyd, that's his name, Jesus. So his right-hand man, who is basically like a son to him, says, you've got a lot of reason to be afraid to go out there, man. And you are afraid. And it makes sense to be afraid. But he doesn't want the guy to get killed, and then his kids have nothing. As if you being out there is going to prevent that from happening. Oh, remember Jade? He's losing his shit right now. So they got to bring him back to jail just, you know, until he sleeps off his hangover or whatever's going on. Meanwhile, Tabitha is basically the village hobo. These two people are extras, and they're not doing such a bad job at all. They almost look related. Look, their facial features are like almost identical. The nose, the cheeks, the whole sloping face, that's kind of interesting. But this girl is hilarious. I mean, you could tell she's not a regular actor, but if she was improving, which seems to be the case, she did an okay job. I think it was funny, and I'm glad that they left this in here, this interaction.
Look at this. Oh, that's really cute. What's wrong? Excuse me.
Hi. Would it be possible for me to borrow one of your phones?
Fuck no. You know, growing up partially in Brooklyn, someone asked you your phone, really? And then the whole time, if you want to be a good person, lend them your phone, you're ready, you're like adrenaline is pumping, ready to chase this person because they might run off. The way I say it now is, okay, you want to borrow my phone, you have to give me something that belongs to you. Because before, I'm the kind of person like, sure, go ahead, and then you get robbed. So, no. Having that been the case in the past, can you give me something that's valuable to you? Well, no, because, I have nothing. Well, fuck off, bitch! There's a police station nearby. Go to them if you really need the phone. I know it sounds heartless, but like, dude, you don't understand. Like, people will come up to you and be nice in the city, and you're like, excuse me, I really need help. And the whole sob story, they're making themselves cry. They look hurt. You feel bad for them. You give them your stuff and they act like they're making a call and then they run off with your shit. And then they have like other friends waiting that they can like pass the baton to so they can lose you. No. The good thing is this is a small town, so I could tell this girl was nervous when she's like, okay, I want to help this person, and her friend is like, bro, what are you doing, my guy? Like, but seeing as there's not enough places to hide or not enough people in this little small town area, and knowing that I have the ability to outrun most people, I would lend her the phone, and then I would fuck her shit up once I catch her if she runs off with my shit. I'm sorry.
No.
Please.
Will you be quick?
Yeah. Thank you.
Where are you going? Oh my God. Why are you walking away? You asked, I don't care how the conversation looks. You asked to borrow someone's phone. They look visibly uncomfortable and you're gonna start walking away from them? Bitch, are you crazy? Wow. Like, see, here where I live, we live in a very small town. Everybody knows everybody here. So I wouldn't have a problem giving my phone to someone because first of all, I know the townspeople around me are going to stop that person if they start running away. Number two, most people don't fuck around with that shit here. You remember that song or that person was like, try that in a small town? For real. The small town people do not fuck with that shit. They will gang up on your ass. And like the next thing, most people here have an upbringing that's a good upbringing and they have civil punishment as well, so they wouldn't even try that. But I get nobody knows her. She has no identification. If she decided to steal this phone or that person's money or whatever, you're not gonna find her. I think the only saving grace here is that the other girl that gave her the phone probably realizes that this is an older woman and she looks battered and whatever, so she probably can't run that fast unless she's doped up on something. You've seen people on fentanyl? Remember the case with a zombie guy eating people's faces? Acting like freaking Split like that? That shit right there, drugs make you do some very, very weird things. Superheroes do live among us in the form of being high. But she probably sized her up and was like, all right, I just want to help her. I can always replace the phone later. Unless you have valuable information on there, at that which point can you stay where we are on either side? Even though it's uncomfortable, you're asking me to use my phone. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, now you can use my phone to take my identity and all the other stuff. Anyway, Tabitha walks away and she calls her mom. It is so heart-wrenching, this entire interaction conversation. Because her mom is like, people are looking for you. So now we get the idea that time does pass. Probably at the same speed as it does on the outside.
Daddy, the police are looking for you and Jim and the kids. Everybody's been looking.
I know, Mom, I know. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna tell you everything as soon as I see you.
Please, por favor.
So her mom is speaking Espanol. She's saying, por favor, tell me where you are. Where are you? Everyone's been looking for you, my love, you know, and it's so heartbreaking. I could believe that the conversation between these two is a conversation between a real mother and daughter. I would actually believe if you told me that this was her actual mom on the phone and the person said, hey, pretend your daughter's missing. How would you feel? The madre on the phone sounds so concerned and it's so sweet and I feel so bad. But at the same time, I'm grateful that she did call her mom. So now her mom knows that my daughter's alive. She doesn't have to worry anymore. And she tells her mom, hey, you might not hear from me for a while, but I'm okay. I love you. Her mom wants her to stay on the phone and she's like, no, I gotta go. Because maybe the police is tracking her too. Mother says she has a detective that she talks to. So yeah, these people that have gone missing, people are aware they're missing. So that's a good thing, supposing that this is not all a dream, which I'm still kind of leaning towards, because don't those things feed on hope? Anyway, she gives back the girl her phone. Her friend is so freaking funny.
Thanks. Why would you do that? You seriously need to disinfect your phone now.
She said you seriously need to disinfect your phone. I mean, it sounds mean, and before I would be like, oh my god, she's such a snobby person. But when you realize some diseases and STDs that people have that, you know, they don't wash their hands, they wipe their ass because they're homeless, they touch your stuff, there's diseases that they carry in their feces, now you touch your phone and touch your mouth or your eyes, and now you have a disease. It's a very real thing. And you know, this is coming from me, I'm a hypocrite. I'll go up and I'll hug and kiss homeless people, not kiss them in the mouth, you know what I mean? Like when they're crying and it's like a legitimate interaction, I don't see them as homeless, I just see them as people. They can smell like urine and shit and I will still hug them and feed them. Like in the moment I don't feel that way, but it really is something that you have to consider because a lot of these people don't have good hygiene, and before you go touching everybody else or touching your mouth, just be aware that they may not have access to, or they don't take advantage of access they have to clean water and soap, and if they do, they might not even be let into these public places to begin with. So yeah, just a cautionary tale. Possible reward. Anyway, this dude is like, I gotta go with my mom. The mother says she doesn't want him to go, and oh boy. She doesn't want to lose him either. Damn. Can you imagine if one of them died? So he's like, nothing's gonna happen to me, relax. You're just worried for no reason. Discount Paul Rudd is like, dude, I'm gonna look for your mom, but I can't be worrying about you and worrying about mom. So don't try to run off or do anything. Which is a good talk to have. The one thing I don't like is that everybody here seems to shelter the kids in a very real situation where kids should not be sheltered. I'll talk about that in a minute. But they go off on their adventure. And just as the other two leave, we realize that the crops that they had left are now all rotten because the soil is gone. It's like killing one of those things made their luck 10 times worse. Poor Donna. She's really going through it. Donna needs a freaking hug.
Everything that survived the storm is rotten. Boy, we're out of food.
How mmany people did you have up here with you? Donna, how many people know?
Go
No, you go home now.
So all these new people especially are worried and panicking and starving. And when it comes to food, yeah, you can't really even tell people to be rational because the very real ape mentality just completely kicks in because all they know is, hey, we're not gonna have food? And then everyone starts chimping out. I know her from somewhere. Where do I know her from? First of all, girl, she's probably heat trained or something because how do you still have a perfect silk press with everything that you've gone through?
Those for everybody. There are more crop coming.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Everything else is rotten. This is all the food we have now. No, please go home. Go home. No, my...
I can't even blame them. It's not like they're trying to be assholes. They're scared. People are scared. And that's why you need somebody to keep people in check, as cruel as it sounds, because if people start panicking, they go against their own benefit. Like this stupid guy that sprays his ball patch on, and he is like, oh shit, Victor. Victor is like, put the fucking goat down. Oh snap. Victor, but it sucks, but that's what you have to do because then everyone will just start eating everything and then you'll starve anyway. You'll just starve faster or starve slower. So Mike / Boyd is like, no, Victor, we're not doing this. Stop. But let's be honest. If Victor didn't do that, the guy wouldn't have given up the goat. But Mike tries to reason with them. Sorry, Boyd tries to reason with them first.
Wait, I take my goat now? Huh?
Those animals are off limits.
These animals are the only food that we have now.
That's right. They provide eggs, they provide milk. They are a resource. If you hadn't noticed, we're running pretty fucking thin on those these days. Listen, what happened today? What happened today was a setback.
I do love Boyd. I think he's a really good leader, and he doesn't just swing his dick around and go straight to aggression. He knows how to be aggressive when he needs to be. You can see his son is standing on edge. His son will jack anyone up. He's like, no. You need me, Dad? Pops, I'm right here. But he tries to be a leader and a father figure first by speaking sense into these people. Because if you just become aggressive off the bat, then people are going to think you're a tyrant. If you give them reasons as to why you're doing what you're doing, even though it seems unfair, people would be a lot more patient unless they're unhinged. And then if they're still unhinged and they won't see reason, then you get aggressive with them. Nobody wants to hurt or scare people, but sometimes it is necessary. There's a reason why mammals in the animal kingdom understand physical dominance. Because if another animal isn't listening to you when you ask them for space or to do something or respect a certain rule, then you do have to be physical for them to understand. Because then you risk getting hurt. And then the only thing certain animals like this understand is pain. If you have more pain than is worth, then you're like, you know what? Come to think of it, I don't want the smoke.
We can still win, but whatever we do, we have to do it carefully. We have to make everything last, okay? This place will not break us.
So he says the only way they go home is to go home together. By the way, the goat's name is Alma, and she is Ethan's friend. That's another thing I have a concern with. That's the whole reason Ethan was upset in the first place and why Victor was trying to help him, because Ethan has gotten attached to that goat. If you have kids in this situation, you need to be 100% real with them. You can't have this idealistic notion of everything's gonna be okay and let's protect the kid's feelings. That's literally what got the other kid killed in the beginning of the show, right? Kids can be tractable if you are firm with them and you scare them enough. And in this situation, the kids have to be scared enough to understand the possible consequences.
Like, whatever.
So this guy's like, you people don't have any idea?
You have not seen what I have seen.
Hey, bud.
You okay?
You okay?
I completely get where Ethan's coming from. I love animals, and I had a goat. Well, it wasn't my goat, but I bonded with a goat, and she had metastasis or whatever. Yeah, and they started from her breast. We knew that was the case, and she couldn't even nurse anymore because of it. So I thought when we came back, you know, she'd be okay. They'd maybe cut her breast off. I didn't realize at the time that it was really bad, and I came back, and my teacher was like, oh yeah, little princess, she ended up on someone's plate. And to me, like, that was a shock, because that was my goat that I was supposed to take care of, and I was crying, because it's just the way the teacher, she's like, yeah, that happened. First of all, why would you take a goat that has metastasis from the breast and feed it to people? Maybe she was just saying that or something, but that was her way of probably saying, yeah, we had to kill her. We had to euthanize the goat. And I came there expecting to see that goat, and to my horror, she was gone because they killed her. Hopefully they didn't feed her to people because she had freaking cancer, because that would be weird. But yeah, I get it. Anyway, when Discount Paul Rudd and Kenny go into the woods that they see, yeah, at this point, I would, that's not something that I was told happened. And of course, this freaks Kenny out, and he's like, yeah, no, him coming from a very superstitious background, he's like, you know, we should probably just go home. And Jim is like, no, we shouldn't. This is new. Boyd didn't say anything about these. Well, maybe that's because Boyd's tent flew past them. So they see a suspicious looking cabin past all of these things. Jim decides they can just stay here because they have the talisman, so it doesn't matter. Kenny says, Boyd said that if we saw the spider webs, we would get the hint that we're going in the right direction. There are no spider webs, so what are we doing? Meanwhile, Tabitha in the real world, supposing this is the real world, talks to the priest because she has no idea who to talk to about this.
Whenever we reach our limits, God will always be there to break our fall.
No. Please don't do that. I didn't come here to talk about God.
Why not?
Because if God is real, then he made that horrible place.
I mean, never mind. She says this was a mistake, but I do like that the priest generally tries to help her. He tries to reach her on a more personal level by asking her about her child. He's asking her more questions, and she's like, bro, I know you're just humoring me because you think that I'm local. He asks her what snack did Victor pack, because she's telling him about Victor belonged to a man named Victor. He says, humor me. But this is a good thing because when she opens the lunchbox and she sees the way that Victor wrapped her lunch, which is so cute because he's still a boy at heart, she sees his address. It says, if lost, please return to Victor Kavanaugh. You know damn well people are gonna look up the address for these things, but it doesn't exist. Also, if you guys are writers, something I love using ChatGPT for is asking it to generate things that don't exist, like addresses and phone numbers, and it will actually do that for you. Because, you know, as a writer, you make up things, but have you ever come into a situation where you made up a name or a location only to find out later that it's an actual real location, and now you're in trouble and getting sued? No, I didn't get sued for that, because, you know, that didn't happen. But I always make sure afterwards. So far, when I've asked the AI to generate me an address or a name or something, and I checked it to make sure it didn't exist, it's been spot on, completely random. Just a helpful tip if you're writing. Poor dude cannot fall asleep. Even though angelic version of the vegan teacher is telling him he needs to get sleep, he says that something feels like it's watching him. And the woman asks him if that's the woman that's watching you. Let me tell you, I felt some chills running up my spine in the scene.
And I can never remember.
Is that her? She looks scary.
Imagine every time you go to sleep, that's what you see. At least he got a nap. So Boyd is talking to Donna and the others, and he's saying we've got to slaughter a cow or something to hold us over while we plant the new crops somewhere else. Ethan overhears them, and of course, this is why you should have a talk with the kids about things like this, because now he's upset. But here are some of the beauties of the differences between, in general, let me preface that, in general, little boys and little girls. I believe the little boys and little girls feel the same way in terms of, you know, their emotions with certain things. It's not that little boys don't have feelings. However, I do admire the male version of the human species in having the ability to compartmentalize their feelings when hard decisions need to be made.
Sure.
Guess you heard what we were talking about in there.
You have to kill the animals to feed the town.
Yeah.
Can't you find another way?
I wish I could do that. I really do. But those animals down there, they're gonna save us. They're gonna keep everybody alive till we figure all this out.
And that was very mature for Boyd saying that to him. Notice how Ethan is taking all of this. Not saying all little boys act like him, but he is so mature and he's understanding. And if a guy tells another little boy, hey, we need to make some hard decisions to protect everyone, most of the time, from what I've experienced, working with kids and observing this, growing up, little boys will put away their tears. They'll be like, all right, or they'll still be crying and they'll do it. They'll do what they need to do. And they'll leave their emotion out of it, even though they still feel bad. They'll still have kindness in their heart, but they'll do what needs to be done. And I do like Ethan's answer here because it's very sweet. I was making fun of it. But it's also very sweet.
They're gonna be heroes.
Can you make sure Elmer goes first?
Why?
Since you won't have to watch your friends die.
That was sweet, but I was like, okay, so all the other animals have to watch everybody else die? Nepotism at its freaking finest. But even his response there is very mature because he loves Alma, but he understands what needs to be done, and he's not crying over it. He's sad, he feels his feelings, but he's like, all right, I guess this is reality. This is what we have to do. And this is something they all should talk to the kids about, but I'm glad that Boyd's doing this. This is very realistic. Now things are getting spicy because Tabitha shows up to Victor's place. This very old box sharp looking car that looks like it can cut you if you brush on it wrong. This dude has a box of alcohols, and he's like, bitch. He didn't say that. But he's like, I am sick and tired of you people. Go away.
I said get the...
Where did you get that?
Oh my God.
I asked you a question. Where did you get that?
You're his father.
And then she says you're Victor's father, and this guy is like, she knows my son.
Why did you say that then?
The poor man. Obviously, the mother and Victor are the ones that got stuck in that place, and they probably think he killed his family and buried them somewhere, which is like, usually when it's the father that is the victim, like, he's always the one that gets blamed first, even though there's no evidence to the contrary. And I can imagine him not knowing what happened to his family, but then on top of it, the town thinks that he's a freaking killer. Not saying that's what happened, but I can gather that's probably what happened. And Victor's probably almost as old as him now, but now I'm hoping that this woman will have an ally. I mean, I don't know how he's gonna take it if she tells him what she tells him, but at this point, what else is he gonna do? The only other thing she could do is take him back to that place, which is like, why would you want to bring anybody back there? But if my family was still there, now that I know there's a way out, I would go back for my family. I'm sorry, I couldn't leave them there. Discount Paul Rudd is like, we're gonna go back home because if Tabitha knew I was out here looking for her and I could die and leave the kids alone, she wouldn't want that. They hear someone walking around outside, possibly one of those Dracula things. And then shit gets turned up to 6,000 because these stupid vampire things unleash all the animals, and I'm thinking, oh, they're gonna kill them. But they don't. They open up the barn. Why is there not a talisman for the barn? Maybe because they figured those things aren't trying to go after the animals, but really? So Jade sleeps off his drunkenness, and then they hear the animals outside. My ass would have been like, you know what? Well, animals, I hope you make it until the morning, because I ain't going outside. But this is the only food source they have left. So I completely understand the decision that Boyd makes to be like, yeah, we need to go rally up these animals and put them inside. But they must know that somebody must have let them out. All of them? So they take the cows and they're trying to get as much as they can. Other people are trying to help, and you already know something is going to happen. Dude in the bus with the sprayed on Widow's Peak is like, oh my God, what is happening? That sucks, but I ain't going out there. He tries honking the horn though and trying to use the lights as a distraction while the fairies or fays or whatever these things are start moving towards the human. Ew, look how they're smiling. It looks so stupid. They look like school teachers from like 1885 or something. Then Ethan sees Alma walking about. He's like, perfect, Alma's outside. This little boy, oh my God. I understand that's his friend, but I expected more from him. I know he's a kid and everyone's like, he's just a child. Okay, we've seen kids make better decisions in terms of survival in comparison with a lot of the grown-ups. And then he's like, oh, I'm just gonna open the door knowing what you know happens. It just felt very out of character for him. But if he's thinking, oh no, the food, I would have actually understood more if Ethan was like, oh my God, the food's getting away, I have to help them. That would have made more sense than him being like, oh my God, Alma, I gotta save her. Like, what is this writing? Like, for him specifically, it's so stupid.
What? Ethan, hey, no!
Hello.
Go! Ethan, run! Go! Julie! Go! Go, go, go!
Good job, dumbass. You put your sister in danger for a fucking goat. Ew, that's how people look before they're gonna sneeze. Am I wrong, though? So Sarah, long neck woman, grabs them and puts them in the bushes and tells them to hide. Meanwhile, these guys are trying to move these cows. Now, I know the cows are like really, they don't feel like anything's wrong. Clearly, these vampires are not a threat to them. They've probably seen those vampires every night. They have no reason to fear them. But the way that the tension is going up, I'm like, yeah, something bad's gonna happen.
Jake, get out of there! Fuck away from me.
The CGI cow, though, it looks so unrealistic. Shit is hitting the fan, and it's really wet. This is a great game, man. It's like hide and seek, but like Ultra XL edition. I don't know why I said XL. Doesn't make any sense. So this guy's like, get in the freaking bus, bro. And they go in the bus. And I have a feeling him and Sarah, since they're both exiled, are gonna be a thing. So Kenny's mom sees that Boyd is having trouble moving that cow. And she says, we go together. I'm gonna help you. And the first thing I'm thinking is, these things can go in the barn. They clearly open the door to let out the animals. Is it not possible that one of them could be waiting in the barn? Because they know you're gonna try to come out and get back the animals and go inside the barn where there's no talisman. And to be fair, he tries to put up a talisman, but what happens if these things are already inside? Which they are, waiting for them. And they're like, boy, do you remember earlier when you were screaming that this place was not gonna break you? You remember that, Boyd? Do you remember saying that this place won't break you? Let's test that theory, shall we? Especially since you broke one of us.
You don't fucking break me. That's what she said.
We already know what's gonna happen. They're not gonna kill Boyd. He's the star of the show. I would respect them if they did, but let's be honest, he's one of the reasons we're watching. And they sit there. What in the Jack Ripper? What in the freaking John Cena is this? And they're like, oh, you don't get broken. Really? Let's break her apart bit by bit. And they start peeling off her scalp. I don't know why that was so hard to get out. And he's like, kill me instead. And he's like, no, we're not gonna kill you, Boyd. Why would we do that? That wouldn't be any freaking fun, would it?
Kill you, Boyd? That would be no fun. You think this place can't break you? Let's see.
Oh, do you feel good?
Ew, why do they look so weird this season? What are these designs? Ew, okay. They need to dial it back a little bit. Like, it was terrifying before, but I don't know who is responsible for the designs this season. This ain't it, bro. This is not it. This is not giving scary. It's giving freaking Michaels and Etsy mask, but it's CGI, which makes it worse for some reason. Why is one of them in their monster form and the other ones are fine? That's a sexy nurse back there, let's be honest. I'd better be ripped apart by her. She could rip my balls off and wear them as a necklace and I'd still love her. I'd still smash. Oh, if she leaves the stem. I'm sorry. You know how I am. Anyway, this is very heartbreaking because yeah. And how is Boyd supposed to help her? He has no idea. And she starts speaking Cantonese, which makes sense because when you're in a state of ultimate fear and pain, you're going to devolve back to your first language. And while they're tearing her apart very slowly and torturing her, he has to watch.
Oh, look at me! What? Okay, say it again! I know. Come on, please don't. Hey, don't! Okay, look at him. Look at him. You're strong. You're so strong. Just... No, I know.
God damn. That was very uncomfortable to watch. I still am in denial that this is happening because Kenny's mom can't be gone like that. And you know what they would do? They would leave her alive just enough for her to suffer and die even slower. Damn, that... Oh God, and Kenny, oh my God, when he comes back, he lost his father that way. And then his mom asked him to stay and he didn't. And if he had stayed, he would have been the one out there, not her. And oh my God, Kenny's gonna go crazy, dude. And don't they have any more ways to kill those things? Can you imagine if they start running? They walk because they don't have any way to run. You know, they do have a way to run, but they think it's a game. But can you imagine if like you're out there and then they start breaking into a freaking Usain Bolt sprint, how much scarier it would be? But then everyone would probably die at that point because those things probably don't get tired. And if they live eternally, then of course there's no reason for them to run because then their fun's gonna be over. They probably live for millennia. So them walking is nothing. They need to keep the game going as long as possible until they get more new blood because they're probably trapped there. Wow. What a very good first episode. If you guys haven't gotten on From, you definitely should. I don't know why they called it From because like, when you're trying to search up it's so hard because that's not a normal title. What I also found interesting that most people didn't catch is when Tabitha was walking around in the beginning, I heard those cicada things that we heard inside of that forest area, that little small town where she came from. Those things that came to people in their sleep, we heard it. And people might have missed it, but let me see if I can play it for you. Did you hear that? Now, it could have been something else that made the noise, but it did sound eerily like those bugs.
Please, Irina!
I don't know, it could be a coincidence, but at this point, anything could be a clue. Some of the theories I have about this is that these monsters could not just be fays only, but manifestations of people's fears, which would explain why they can't kill Boyd. Because he's afraid of them, but he's more afraid of everybody else, and they haven't broken him. Either way, this is one of those series where the journey is more wild than the actual ending, which I'm completely convinced that the writers don't even know how to wrap up.
From season 3, episode 1, and we already have more mysteries on top of mysteries. I can't stand Jim, and the monsters are getting smarter, people.